Welcome to Death by Improv, playing some role-playing games. I'm Michael Hochman. I am often the host of DBI. Today, I am the game master for a game of Lasers and Feelings, an amazing free one-shot RPG by John Harper. In the comments, in the description below, you'll see links to that, along with a few other things by Emmy's an amazing game designer. And we're going to jump right into things. For anyone who doesn't know what a tabletop role-playing game is, like one of our first-time players, Ryan over here, we will be taking our improv skills but applying them to the world of tabletop gaming, which means each of our players has a character they've created in this game has one single stat, and that stat is lasers or feelings, and they have a single number on that scale. And we'll get into how that works in a minute. But let's go around the horn real quick and introduce our characters. Let's start with Ryan. Tell us about yourself.
I am due north, born with the instinct of knowing where to go, but not quite knowing how to get myself there.
Mick.
I am Cam Meridian. I am a savvy engineer. The mechanics of this ship are second nature and like the back of my hand to me. However, interpersonal relationships are not necessarily my thing.
And Farley.
I am Sparks McElroy. I am an android doctor. I am tending to the medical needs of the crew. I know very many humans.
Wonderful. So we have Due North, Cam Meridian, and Sparks McElroy, who are crew members on the Starship Raptor, a interstellar scout ship in a, what is the term here? Not, I was going to say Federation, but that's from the thing that's copyrighted. This is a totally different thing. From the consortium, you are members of the crew of the Raptor, a scout ship in the consortium, and you guys have been on a ton of missions. You've flown all over the place. You've done a ton of things, and most recently, your captain, Captain Darcy, has been taken horribly ill, and for his own safety, has been put in a cryogenic pod. And right as the pod is freezing him, you guys are all in the med bay, seeing to his sort of safe cryo. And as the doctor closes the thing, Darcy looks up at you and says, "Make sure that the crew is ready for," and then the pod slams shut and he doesn't get to finish his sentence. And you don't know what final mission he was about to impart on you before he gets put into stasis here. And just then, the alarm bells start ringing. The lights are flashing red everywhere. What do you guys do?
We check the GPS on the ship and see if there were any destinations already input.
All right, so Due North goes right to the nearest console, starts plugging in some stuff. What is your role on this ship? What does Due North normally do?
I keep an eye on the maps, and through my use of instinct and knowledge of people and places, I help the captain in determining where we must go next.
All right. Well, in that case, you're going to roll here to see what sort of information you find. And normally, the way rolling in this game works, you've all picked a number. Ryan, what was your number?
2.
2. So a 2 means Due North is better at feelings than he is at lasers, meaning anything that's more guttural and visceral and less the things that are logical and sciencey. And so you're going to roll to see how well you can sort of quickly pull up some information here. And because you're rolling feelings, you want to roll, or you're rolling lasers because you're trying to get technical information. So you want to roll below your number, which means you need a 1 or a 2 here. And you're going to roll 3 dice because you are, you get 1 by default. And because you apparently, even though you're more feelings based, are like a navigator type, you're prepared and an expert at this. So that gives you the 2 extra. So go ahead and roll 3 dice and tell me what you get. And you don't add them up. You give them to me individually.
2, 3, 4.
2, 3, 4. So you got 1 laser feelings, which you can use either to ask me, the GM, any question you want that I'll have to answer honestly, but it means you would fail because you won't have any successes, or you can take the 1 success.
I take the 1 success.
All right. So with 1 success, you succeed, but just barely. So you're typing in some numbers here. The alarms are going crazy. Some conduits start blowing steam everywhere. And you see that the captain's last command, right before this console explodes in your face, was he set course for a small habitable planet on the outside of this system.
Excellent.
Well, perhaps I should check on this steam and make sure that won't perhaps blow us off course as we vented into the reaches of space.
Everybody okay? Is everybody okay? Have you been hurt from the steam?
No, I was able to dodge out of the way of the steam because I know this ship, and I know if there is going to be a blowing explosion of steam, I know exactly where it would come from.
I'm just confused why the console blew up. I feel like there's got to be a reasonable explanation for that.
Well, let me take a look at that console and see, as I know this ship like the back of my hand, perhaps I can get to the bottom of why the console exploded as it did.
Sure. So you're going to try to look for any indication of what the problems were. Again, 1 dice by default. You'll also get 1 die for being an expert at this. I don't know if you were prepared to do like a forensic analysis, so you're only getting the 2 dice here.
Okay.
What is your number, Cam Meridian, Savvy Engineer?
My number is 5.
Okay, 5. So again, you're rolling lasers, which means you need to roll below the 5.
Okay.
So much better odds than due north's 2.
Okay, I've got a 2 and a 2.
All right, so that is 2 successes, which means on 2 successes, you did it. Good job. Nothing else to worry about. So yeah, you look at this thing and you go, there's clear sign of sabotage. There's you managed to pull some logs and realize that someone has messed with the code and caused overloads throughout the ship.
I've pulled the logs and see that someone has caused overloads throughout the ship.
How would we figure out who has done that?
Well, perhaps we need to pull more logs.
I can access the computer databases down in the med room. I will just need my keypad.
Do you have your keypad?
I believe so. Oh, yes, I do. It's right here.
Oh, thank goodness.
So we just need to go down to the med room and I can access the data logs.
Do you know how to get there?
Yeah, it's right down.
Oh, good.
I mean, he is an android doctor. I would assume he knows where the med bay is.
Just need to make sure.
I've been there several times.
Okay.
And I have my keypad.
So you leave the one med bay you're in where you just froze the captain,
and you data logs are kept.
You head to the medical data bay. We'll say.
Sure. Well, the records are kept.
Yes. That sounds like an appropriately sci-fi thing. A medical data bay. So you head on down the corridor to the medical data bay. What are you doing?
I'm going to plug into the mainframe and access the data logs.
All right.
See if the captain left any.
So are you looking for something specific?
I guess maybe what planet we're going to.
All right, sure. So what is your number, Sparks McElroy?
4.
A 4. All right. So I'm going to say because you're an android, that actually like interfacing with a computer to me feels like a more emotional thing than a sciencey thing. This isn't like you looking through logs. This is you trying to like have a conversation with a computer. So you interface here, and I want you to give me a feelings roll, which means you need to roll above your number.
Okay. How many?
I think you are prepared here, and it is the medical bay, so that makes you an expert. So give me 3 dice.
3. Okay. I have 3, 3, and 6.
And your number was a 4, you said, so that is
Yes.
1 success. So you managed to do it, but just barely. And so you are through the medical computers interfacing with the wider ship mainframe, and you manage to pull up just a little bit of information about the planet that your ship is heading towards right now. And all you know is that it's inhabited by an ancient race that hasn't had contact with the consortium in decades. And there's very little concrete information there. And you're not even sure why the captain would send you there. And as you do it, that console explodes also because you just barely managed it. Sparks go flying everywhere. You managed to just disconnect your USB key, but you didn't hit safely eject. So like maybe you're feeling some ill effects.
I've told everyone on this ship time and time again that you have to eject the USB before you remove it. I mean, that could be the cause of all of this. The saboteur just may have gone around unplugging USB sticks throughout the ship, and that's why we're getting all these explosions.
Sparks, are you okay? Can you heal yourself, repair yourself if necessary?
I'll have to go back to the med bay and heal myself. So we
The other med bay.
travel back to the med bay.
Robot med bay.
Yes,
Yes,
the
of
robot
course.
med. Yes, which is also a separate corridor from the other med bay we were in.
Yes.
So we have to go to that the robot med bay.
A series of hijinks ensues where you go from med bay to med bay to med bay, gathering little bits of information. Things explode, you heal somebody up, and it keeps going like that for a while until eventually, over the communicators, someone comes through and says, Officer North, gather a team and report to the shuttle bay.
Oh, well, who is this?
It's Commander Duncan.
Commander Duncan. Cam, do you know Commander Duncan?
I've never heard of Commander Duncan. Commander Darcy confided many things in me, and I don't remember hearing of Commander Duncan, but I was usually trying to fix his computer because he unplugged a USB and didn't eject it, so I didn't really pay attention to what he said. But that name doesn't sound familiar.
Okay, well, Sparks, do you know how many people are on this ship? I mean, surely someone must know this person.
There are currently 1,552 people on this ship. There is no Mr. Dukin in our logs at all.
You guys left the comm channel open. I'm a new recruit, but the captain gave me a secret mission before he went up to med bay.
And made you a commander?
Well, no, I transferred. I used to serve on the Pelican.
None of that checks out with my database.
I don't know that. Is there even a Pelican in the consortium fleet?
This is all very suspicious. Well,
If you're gonna question my integrity, you might want to close your comms channel.
I'm comfortable letting him know how suspicious we are of him. Sometimes,
Wow, dude, that is so intrepid of you.
sometimes purely expressed emotion brings out the suspicious
elements.
behavior in someone.
We just want the truth. When were you hired? Can we ask you when we were hired?
Well, I transferred in 2 days ago.
2 days ago.
I was quarantining for safety.
Oh, yes.
People should do that, you know.
Yes. Well, due to COVID 3019, it is imperative that we quarantine before we start.
No doubt a wise decision, but I mean, clearly the captain wanted us to go down to this planet, whether we can trust this supposed commander or not. Maybe we just send one of us down there.
It's the only logical thing. We must figure out where we must be going next.
Well, I know this ship like the back of my hand. Maybe the commander hid something in the databanks of the ship that I'll be able to retrieve and will give us some more insight as to whether or not we should be trusting this Dukins, whatever. What was your name again?
It's just Dukin. There's no
Dukin.
S.
Dukin. Yes.
Spell it.
It's DUUKN.
EUU. So there's no vowel between the K and the N?
Nope.
What region are you from?
Epsilon 72.
Use your name in a sentence.
Hi, my name's Commander Dukin.
First name?
Jargon.
Shark and Dukin.
Jarkin Dukin.
Spelled Jarkin.
Jarkn.
That checks out. The people of Epsilon are known for not having vowels in their names, where you
they're
would think they would have
KNs.
vowels in their names.
All right. So clearly we can trust him.
Yes.
He couldn't have possibly made all that information up on the spot, even while hesitating.
No, a name like Jarkin Dukin, you would never just make that up off the top of your head.
All right.
Are you gonna come to the shuttle bay or what?
Yes.
All right.
We'll
All
make
right,
our
all
way-
right.
The bay.
All right. I'll
Another
head down to
bay.
the shuttle bay.
All right. We just have to go through 2 more med bays to get to your
Okay.
bay.
You make your way to the shuttle bay, and you're greeted by a green-skinned commander who is standing there and says, "You must be due north. Who are these guys?"
This is my trusty engineer, Cam Meridian, and of course everyone knows Sparks, our resident doctor on this wing.
As we just spent minutes going over, you don't know me and I don't know you. So.
Well,
My
either way,
documents go so far throughout the galaxy. I'm surprised you haven't heard.
Well, the captain, before he had to freeze himself, asked me to tell you, that he needed you to go make contact with this alien race. He thinks they might be able to solve his problem there. The reason he had to go into cryo in the first place.
It seems slightly suspicious that the captain would endanger the lives of all 1,552 people on the ship just to get information about his own medical condition.
But Darcy's not like the most, respected commander in the fleet.
True, there's many scandals.
What's your favorite scandal, Sparks?
Well, I was very big fan of when he was running numbers for pod races. He was definitely shaving a lot of points off of those.
Invalidated a whole season of racing. Yeah.
Yep. So
all right, Commander. Cam, with your blessing, I will leave you behind in the ship that you know like the back of your hand.
Go in peace to love and serve the Raptor and Captain Darcy.
That is what we will do. I will go down to the planet. Are you coming with me?
Me? No, I'm not certified for away missions.
So who's coming with me other than, do I have a troop?
I told you to assemble a team.
I believe we are the team.
Oh, all right. Well, maybe my engineer and my android doctor should come with me.
I'm a doctor. I can help a lot of things.
All right. Cam, are you comfortable temporarily abandoning ship, so to say?
Well, I'm not comfortable, but in the name of duty, I will follow wherever duty will take me. Duty.
All right, Commander, there you have it. We have our 3-man team.
All right. The shuttle's already programmed for a descent. You just got to get in.
Which bay is that one in? Is that over here?
It's this shuttle right here.
Okay, I'll go to this. All right, let's go to this guy over here.
So you guys climb aboard the shuttle, and sure enough, Dukin is like waving goodbye as the door closes, and you guys, before you're even sat down, the shuttle launches out the shuttle bay, and you're outside the Raptor, heading away straight towards the planet that the Raptor has just come into orbit of, and right away your sensors start going wild. You're getting all sorts of atmospheric data and scans of the planet. What do you guys do?
Perhaps I should check to see if this planet is habitable and the air is not toxic before we step out of the pod. Because if we just step out of the pod and instantly choke to death on poison, this whole trip is for nothing.
Yeah, so we need to be able to communicate with the residents of this planet. So we need to be able to breathe. And
yes.
What so?
Because breathing is part of talking.
Yes.
But I don't know what to...
Do you concur, Android Doctor Sparks?
I can just walk outside and tell you because
that's true.
I don't need to breathe.
Oh, that's very smart.
Air.
Maybe that's the wisest decision. We send out Sparks.
As you're discussing the atmosphere, suddenly some laser fire from the surface of the planet comes shooting up towards your shuttle, just narrowly missing.
Well,
Have we landed, or we're still coming in for?
You're still in the air. You're
Okay.
coming in.
Well, perhaps I can figure out a way to control this thing so we can take evasive action and avoid this laser fire.
Is there a way we can send down a message to the people firing upon us? Anybody?
Maybe we can vent the exhaust and do some skywriting.
It's worth a try.
you have a 65% chance.
What message should we try to send to them if we are able to do this skywriting?
Let's see how successful you are before you even know what the message is, because it might be a total bust.
Sure.
So who is attempting this crazy maneuver?
I'll give it a shot.
All
My
right.
knowledge of the ship translates to my knowledge of the shuttlecraft. They're a part of the ship.
I do think this is some technical flying here. Like, you are trying to spell stuff out, so it's not even like you're just trying to like be in a dogfight dodging or whatever. You're trying to meticulously spell a thing. It's space penmanship.
Yes.
So I'm going to say this is a lasers roll. What is your number again?
5.
So with a 5 for lasers, you need to roll. What did I say? It's under for lasers, right? Or is it?
I believe so. Yeah.
Yes.
Yes, you roll under your number for lasers. So do you think you are in any way prepared to do this? Be honest.
No, I would say not.
Do you think you have any expertise that applies here?
I'm not a pilot per se. I know about how the ships work, but I don't necessarily know how to make them go. So
Okay.
I would say, in fairness, probably not.
All right, that would put you only at 1 die. But before you do that, are either of your friends here helping you? Because they might be able to give you an extra die. And if you are, what are you doing to help?
I would like to help craft the message we are sending to the planet.
All right. While Cam is trying to steer the shuttle, you're sitting there trying to basically tell him what to spell out as he's going.
Yes.
So with that help, give me 2 dice, Mick.
Okay. 3 and a 2.
So that is both under your number. So you succeed. You managed to do it. So what is this message you have spelled out in the clouds?
Oh, we have spelled out, we come in peace for Darcy.
Okay. So you're venting plasma or exhaust or whatever works to ignite some cloud writing into the sky. And after a couple of last blasts of lasers, as you finish putting the Y on Darcy, suddenly the lasers just stop and your approach is very peaceful from there on out.
Excellent. Well done, Cam.
Thank you. I did not know I had it in me.
All right. So these beings from this planet haven't interacted with us for some number of thousands of years. Is that right, Sparks?
Yes, I believe the vision that the database gave me was we have not made contact with them. This is a unknown planet. This would be probably the first outside contact that they've had in many, many a century.
As you say that, the shuttle, which you've put back on autopilot, is finishing its descent and comes to a landing pad in the middle of this sort of city district. It's sort of a little bit urban, but a little bit militaristic. Everything is like chrome and angular. And you land, and the back door of the shuttle comes open, and you see nobody there as you step out.
So we see we see the city, but there doesn't appear to be anyone about.
Not immediately, no.
Okay.
Well, I'm just gonna yell. I'm gonna scream out. I'm just gonna yell as loud as I can and see if anybody comes.
But like friendly, pleasing tone.
Oh yes, I will be as pleasing as possible.
Well, that does sound rather feelings like. So what are you screaming?
I'm going to say, we come in peace for Darcy. I'm going to try to, at least.
It's becoming the mantra of your crew. So you get 1 die automatically. Do you think you are at all prepared or an expert here?
Probably not if it's feelings, but
Is anyone able to help Sparks in any way?
Yeah, I will actually I will conduct him like a orchestra conductor to make sure that he delivers it in the most pleasing and melodic tone possible.
Correct number of hertz, perhaps.
Exactly.
Okay, so this isn't just like screaming at once. It's like a repeated refrain that you're conducting. All right.
Exactly. And since I'm so used to the hearing the way that the ship's engines are supposed to hum, it's giving me perfect pitch.
All right. So in that case, Farley, you are rolling 2 dice. Feelings, what is your number again?
4.
4. All right, so you were trying to roll above.
Yes.
So a 5 or a 6, or if you get a 4, that is a laser feelings success.
I got a 5 and a 4.
All right, so that is either 2 successes or 1 success and a laser feelings, which laser feelings means you could ask me anything about this situation, and I have to answer completely honestly, whether it makes sense for you to know or not. But if you take that laser feelings, it leaves you only 1 success, which is you succeed, but just barely. 2 successes is you just succeed. So
well, yeah.
So do you take the partial with a question, or do you take the regular succeed?
I think I'll take the partial with a question.
All right. So what is your question?
All right. So we're on this planet. What? I guess. I don't know why are we here? Why are we on this planet? What are we here to seek out, or what are we here to make contact with? I don't know if that's like 3 questions or not.
All right. Cool. No. I'll roll those into one question here. You are here because Darcy thinks he has been infected with a brain worm, and he thinks this planet is the source of those brain worms. And I think you as a doctor probably knew that, and you maybe didn't connect the 2 pieces of information till now.
Still recovering from the explosion.
But now you're remembering, like, oh yeah, that's why Darcy wanted to be frozen.
The brain worms, and then I succeeded the things.
And yeah, so you have a partial success here, which means you start screaming, "We come in peace for Darcy! We come in peace for Darcy!" And you look up and you see your skywriting is still hanging there in the sky too, and suddenly people start coming out of doorways and from the sides of buildings, out of alleys, and it seems you have succeeded in that people have heard you and are aware that you are here, but it's only a partial success because many of them are raising blasters at you. You do notice, however, many of them are also wearing consortium uniforms, and you supposedly haven't made contact in a long, long time.
We should try to speak with the people in the consortium uniforms.
We should, yeah, like we try to gesture, like, hey, we've got uniforms too.
You, me.
You do an elaborate, like, hey, and some of them are just sort of dead eye pointing their blasters at you, not seeming to, if they understand, they don't seem to care.
Okay.
They're not firing, they're just pointing their blasters.
Right.
I will let them know that according to Consortium Bylaw 17, subsection 4, Codicil 32B, that the pointing of weapons at fellow consortium members is strictly prohibited and should be reported to the Sergeant-at-Arms and will not be tolerated.
All right, so you are trying to lawyer these guys, I guess.
Right.
So do you have any expertise that would apply here?
None.
Do you have?
He knows the rule book really well.
You do seem to know the rules with quoting that, so I think you were prepared with some regulations. So you'll get a die for that.
Okay.
Anyone doing anything to help?
No, I can help him and access my memory of the rule book as well to back him up.
Okay. Yeah,
I did.
So we're saying this
Maybe
is
as you're
laser roll or
saying
a
it,
feeling
Sparks
roll?
is maybe as I think the
I'm
law.
looking it up on my phone.
Yeah, you're trying to like give the letter of the law. This feels very systematic and like intelligence based. So I'm going to call this a lasers roll.
Okay.
So you need to roll under your number, right?
So, and 2 or 1?
So you are prepared and you're being helped. So it's actually 3 dice.
Okay, 3. Okay. 1, 6, and 2.
All right, so that is 2 successes. So you succeed, and you have eloquently communicated the code legal of the consortium in regards to weapons and sergeants at arms and whatever other crap you said. And so one of these blaster-wielding uniformed people comes forward, stepping out of the crowd, and you see it is a woman who has got sort of a grayish skin with some ridges on her forehead and a few dots down the side, sort of a mix of various alien tropes we've seen time and time again. And she comes forward and says, "We may wear your uniforms, but your officers died long ago."
But our captain, I just saw him sealed up in a pod not an hour ago. I believe that a captain would be an officer.
I speak of these officers, and she like points to herself and to the others wearing uniforms around her.
How
So are
old
you
are those uniforms?
These uniforms are as old as these bodies.
So are you some sort of reanimated space zombies?
We are the linguini.
Delicious.
Ah, yes.
I
The infamous
heard-
linguini.
It's not spelt the way you think. It can't be spelt in your language.
Wait a second. I believe that I once, when I was in the academy, I believe I dormed with a linguini. Perhaps you know him, or knew him. Know him. If he's here, I'm sure he'll vouch for me. His name was Al Denti.
It's a real name.
No, he was my roommate. If he's here, I'm sure he'd vouch for us and let you know that we mean no harm. In fact, you might even see that we have in the air. We come in peace for Darcy.
Yep.
He is our captain. We're just trying to find a way to suck his brain worm out of his head. And if we can find that, we'll be on our way. And you can do whatever you're doing with your things.
Very elegant.
As you say, suck the brainworm out of his head. Everyone who's pointing blasters at you seems to like charge their weapons as if they're about to fire.
Whoa.
I made them think about eating pasta. I believe that was a cultural insult.
Okay. Everybody calm down. We can find our way through this. Our captain, who clearly you know, otherwise you would have kept firing on us.
Mm-hmm.
We know the entity that possesses your captain.
So how well do you know it?
It is linguini. We are linguini.
And it is also linguini, so one of you is inside of our captain.
Al dente was linguini.
Are you saying my roommate, my former academy roommate, is in the head of our captain?
No, we. They are telling you that they are brainworms possessing bodies.
Oh, okay.
These bodies that they're referring to are not their own, are not their consciousness.
Oh, I'm a little slow on the uptake. So
this entity inside of our captain is a friend of yours.
He is one of us.
And do you want him back?
He shall come when the body is ready.
But we could maybe expedite that, if you're interested in him, maybe we could bring him here without the body
We shall
give you a new
take your
body.
bodies as well. And blaster fire starts going off. What do you do?
Jumping behind the shuttle. I'm gonna jump.
Yeah, I would say we should be taking cover.
Yes, we immediately take cover.
What specifically are you doing?
I'm gonna jump behind the shuttle that we landed in.
Once in cover, I will use my pocket computer to try to see if I have any information on the linguini and what weaknesses they may have.
All right. So you all start dodging out of the way, which I think is the taking cover portion. I think you all need to roll individually for here, and this is going to be pure feelings. Like you're relying on instinct here. Do any of you feel like you are prepared or an expert at this in any way?
A little bit.
Yeah, I would say as an intrepid explorer,
You've
been in the occasional gunfight.
What's the last time Due North was scraping with hostile aliens?
It's been a while, but I'm really good at anticipating people's actions. Not necessarily in battle, but I can tell by the look in their eyes what they intend to do.
All right, you'll get an extra die then. Sparks and Cam, do either of you have anything that makes you an expert or prepared?
No, unless I know where it's a column of steam might burst out from a pipe on the ship, I don't know anything physical.
Even though you said it was for feelings, I feel like being an android, I could very much narrow down my way back to cover, but I guess.
So what does Sparks looking for cover look like then? Like what is it that is more mechanical or lasery for you then?
I don't know. Suppose whatever's the largest, closest object, and getting to it as quick as possible.
I feel like Matrix style, you would analyze the direction of the beams that are coming towards you.
I feel like I could.
Yeah, so you can just dodge them as you're
so
miss them.
It's like a mid '80s, cyberpunk movie where like we cut to like your display and it's really just green grid lines, and it's like bing, bing, bing.
Yep.
Okay, so in that case, Sparks gets to roll lasers, but Due North, you'll roll feelings, but you're rolling 2 die, and Cam, feelings, 1 die.
All right.
Let's start with Due North. What do you got?
4 to 5.
And your number is?
2.
2, and you're trying to roll feelings, so that's 2 successes, right?
Yes.
So you managed to do it. You go diving, somersaulting out of the way of some blaster fire, and you are successfully hiding. Were you going for the shuttle or for something else?
A chrome-plated trash can that I saw near the alleyway where the creatures were coming from. People.
Sure. So yeah, you go diving behind some trash bins. Cam Meridian, what'd you roll?
I rolled a 2.
And your number is?
5.
So you failed, correct?
That would be right.
Is this our first failure of the game?
That is, I believe, our first failure.
All right, so with 0 successes, I'll tell you how things get worse. We'll circle back to that in just a second when I know how Sparks did. Sparks, you were rolling lasers. What was your number and what'd you roll?
Just 1 die, right?
I think you being an android gives you the bonus die based on everything you described.
Okay,
so sure.
All right, so my number was 4. I've got a 5 and a 6.
All right, and you needed to roll
under.
No, for failings you roll over your number. So that's 2 successes.
Oh, okay.
Because you had a 4 and you rolled a 5 and a 6, right?
Yes.
Wait, no, you're rolling lasers. So
we were arguing.
That's why
yeah.
it was.
We were arguing lasers.
You should have stuck. You should have stayed with it. That is also a failure. So Due North, you dive behind the trash cans and you're fine. You feel like you're okay.
Yeah.
Cam and Sparks, you both go scrambling for the shuttle, but before you can make it to the shuttle, a large worm creature comes out of the ground and just eats the shuttle in front of you, just swallowing it up. You didn't see it coming, but it is just like, and your shuttle has now been devoured.
Well, this seems less than optimal.
And suddenly you hear all the crowd just be like, the great Linguini.
You there, the one that first spoke to us. What is your name?
I am Linguini.
You are all Linguini.
I think they're all Linguini.
Okay. I was hoping to connect with you and come to an understanding about the situation we are all in. Because if you want al dente...
Bling, bling. They're still firing blaster shots, bouncing off trash cans around you.
If you want al dente, we are in control of his body. You can't have him back without us. I shout from behind the trash can.
We are al dente.
We have al dente.
Wait, we do?
He's in our captain.
Linguini is in your captain.
Is this a sex thing?
Al dente was merely a body.
Oh, right.
Oh.
That years ago infiltrated your consortium on our behalf.
Of course.
So wait, my roommate, he infiltrated the consortium on your behalf way back when?
Linguini has infiltrated by means of many ways, including the one you call al dente. Blast, blast, blast.
Okay. Well, what do you want from us?
Your bodies. We need them to build our quantum tunnel to other worlds.
How long has Linguini been on this planet? Whoa.
The great Linguini has been here since the dawn of time. We are its children. And the giant worm is like gone back into the ground, and you're feeling the ground tremble beneath you.
Is there anything we see like about this planet, like its makeup, its terrain, its the environs around us? Is it just like a city that we're in, or is there anything we can see like about the natural landscape?
You, as you were flying in, probably saw that a lot of it was sort of, you didn't see a lot of like lush greenery or anything. Most of it looked more sandy or even just like dirt-based. The city you've landed in probably was a rarity in that landscape.
Do any of us have any weapons?
Yeah, you would each have like a standard issue blaster on you, probably. In fact, I think I glossed over that in the rules, but yes, you each have, I think it says it in here, like a blaster, a communicator, and some other stuff.
If we have, perhaps we can still radio the ship. Perhaps they'll be able to lay down some suppressing fire and we can run to safety.
Excellent idea, Cam.
Let me attempt to radio the ship and our new captain, Henkum Jenkum. Whatever his name was.
The commander.
Yes, Commander
Dukin.
Yes. All right. Let me pull out my communicator. Hey, Dukin.
Yeah?
Maybe you might see this, but we are in some, we're in some hot spaghetti, you might say, down here. If you could lay down some suppressing fire so that we might be able to get to safety, because we've got a whole bunch of linguini after us. The brainworm, not the pasta.
That sounds like a lot like what's happening up here. Half the ship is overrun.
Wait a second. Are you linguini too, by any chance?
No.
How do you know who's linguini?
Well, many of them are going around going, "We are linguini."
But it seems to me that you denying that you're linguini might be something a linguini might say to draw us into a false sense of security.
Blaster fire. Blaster fire. He's like, I'm trying to retake the bridge. They've stolen the ship and are gonna crash it down to steal all the parts.
Oh,
One of them said something about a quantum tunnel.
However, all right, this is very, very important. If you are able to get control of the thrusters, I can take control of the weapons remotely from down here with my magical, well, not magical, this is science, my science pad.
I'll see what I can do. I gotta dodge out of the way a lot of these linguini guys.
And while that's happening, I return fire to distract the people shooting lasers at Cam so he can focus and not have to constantly dodge laser fire.
All right, so you're trying to blast off some of these enemies. I think an intrepid...
Or just draw fire away from my team.
Sure. Lay in cover fire, yeah.
Yes.
I think as an intrepid explorer, that seems up your alley. So yeah, you have some expertise there.
Yes.
Is there anything around, like any sort of machinery around that I might be able to see if I can tinker with and provide us some sort of advantage?
Probably. Give me 1 second. We'll finish up with Ryan here.
Yes.
So due north, as you're laying down this cover fire, are you doing anything that makes you particularly prepared, or are you just relying on your expertise here?
I am relying on expertise. I'm the least prepared for this situation.
All right. I do feel like this is a feelings roll. You're just like, it's courage and guts, and you're just like bam, bam. So give me 2 dice because you're an expert at it. So 2 dice, rolling feelings. So you want to be over your number, which is a
2.
2. All right.
2 and a 6.
All right. So you can either have 2 successes, which is a full success, or you can have a partial success, which means you just barely do it, maybe some complication. But you would also then get to do the laser feelings. Ask me a question. What do you want?
I have a question, so I would like the question and a partial success.
All right. What is your question?
Do the linguini have any weaknesses?
Ooh, as you're firing off, you notice that many of them are recoiling from like the sound of blaster fire, and so your gut tells you that they have some weakness to sonic frequencies of a certain range, and you're pretty sure if you can just figure out exactly what about the blaster fire is making them recoil, you could probably monopolize on that. So your partial success, as you're firing off, you're taking out a bunch of them. But once again, that sandworm that is underneath the city comes out of the ground right behind you, and it's now just like it rises up, and its mouth is like curving over, and it's sort of like you're feeling like the drip of whatever like saliva, acid, whatever, sort of like occasionally hitting your shoulder, and it's like, it's not like completely burning you, but it like stings a little. It's not instant death, but it's not a pleasant experience. It smells horrible, and the great linguini is floating over you.
He performed at my birthday party and I was 8.
So back to Cam Meridian, you wanted to see if there was any machinery you can use. So you're trying to sort of look around and ascertain sort of what is usable around you, right?
Correct. And actually, a quick question: when he learned about this, there's something perhaps about the noise of the blaster fire, which might be causing him to recoil somewhat. Is that something he would have shared with the rest of his team, or is that just something that Due North knows himself?
So would Due have like yelled that or communicated that to everyone as the giant worm came up out of the ground behind you? Because they sort of happened simultaneous.
Probably not yet. I'm still absorbing the intensity of the situation.
Okay.
So Cam, you're trying to ascertain what's usable around you. So this is basically in other games, this would be like a intelligence gathering roll of some sort. So I'm going to have you just roll 1 die for normal. You are like an engineer, so I think that makes you an expert here. You did mention your magic science pad, so I'm going to guess like that's gives you some sort of scanning ability, whatever. So prepared, right? So that's going to be 3 die here.
Okay.
To basically to gather some information about your surroundings.
Okay.
And this feels very scientific. You're analyzing things. So this is a laser roll.
Okay. So 3 die?
Yep.
Okay. All right. 5, which is my number. 4 and 4.
All right. So that is either 3 successes, which is a critical success, which is basically you not only manage to do it, you get a huge extra effect, or it's a regular success plus a laser feeling question.
I'll take the huge success.
All right. So you start scanning, and you not only determine the nature of some of the equipment, you actually see a pattern and notice that the whole city is really one big machine. And you start crunching some numbers like really fast, doing all sorts of weird, we'll say quadratic equations, but like space quadratics. And you start crunching some numbers and have this like moment of, oh my God. And the city you are standing in is really one giant apparatus to build, to create a interplanetary quantum tunnel. And you're pretty sure that once they get all the pieces they're missing, they're mere steps away from becoming operational.
Okay. I have something I want to do, but first I'm going to call over due north. Have you been able to figure anything out if these things have any kind of weakness of any sort from your combat experience?
I can, but between the blaster fire and now that I'm thinking about it, the effectiveness of Sparks' screeches, I do think they are sensitive to sound of varying frequencies.
Okay.
Speaking of Sparks, what is Sparks doing during all this? You see Dew is like shouting back and forth with Cam while a giant sandworm is right behind him.
So picking up that they are affected by different frequencies, I am running around in circles or zigzag formations to avoid the blasters while simultaneously changing my voice in different pitches to try to see if we could shake up these worm people, linguini, if you will, the linguini.
All right. So you're trying to find the right frequency here. All right. This feels. Are you following some sort of set pattern, or are you just like taking stabs in the dark here?
Stabs in the dark. Now there's no pattern. It's
all right, then that makes it a feelings roll because there's no logic to the frequencies you're trying. That's why I asked. I do think your android physiology makes you particularly adept at this, so that'll give you a bonus die here. I don't know if you're an expert at it, unless you can come up with some sort of bullshit reason why you would be.
No.
All right. So you're gonna get 2 dice here, rolling feelings.
All right. I got a 4 and a 3.
And your number was
4.
All right. So you can either make that 1 success, which is a partial, or you can take the failure but get a laser feelings question.
I'm gonna take the partial success.
All right.
Yeah.
You're going up and down with these frequencies, just sort of jumping all over the known the known audible range of sentient species or whatever. And it takes you a moment or two, but like as an android, you're also cycling through them really fast and like looking for reactions from people. And you eventually do lock on to a certain set of harmonics that seem to affect them more so than others. But the partial success side of this is as you're doing it, which limb of your android body gets blown off by blaster fire. I'll let you pick.
Thank you. I'll take my left arm.
All right, your left arm, like just above the. Do you have like a normal humanoid frame? We didn't actually discuss your appearance.
I was absolutely humanoid, just data. This is just data.
Okay. So just above your left elbow, the blaster fire like severs the servos there or whatever, and like your forearm basically goes flying out in front of you, and like you're seeing it still twitch from the last impulses you sent to it. And is your android a righty or a lefty?
That's a righty. That's what.
Okay.
I don't even
Sacrifice the bad arm.
So presumably your blaster is in the arm you kept.
That's for sure.
That's why these are important questions, guys. So you find that frequency. You know that you can reproduce these harmonics. And as you're doing this, though, you guys are also noticing that like there's just more and more of these people, and some of them are in consortium uniforms, some are in uniforms from like other alien civilizations. Some of them look like people you've never seen before. It looks like this is a planet that has accumulated people from all over and have like basically been bringing supplies from all these other worlds that they've infiltrated. And so there's like hundreds and hundreds of people. So even as you're picking off some people with blaster fire due north and like sparks, you're finding that frequency and repulsing some of them. And Cam is like sitting there dodging fire while playing with his tablet. You guys are noticing that like more and more of these people are just coming out of the woodwork. You're going to be overrun pretty soon. What do you guys do?
What impact? Oh, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, I have an idea. If we know that we're trying to find the right frequency that will perhaps stop the linguini, but it's a matter of us not knowing exactly what it is yet. But if this whole city is one giant apparatus, I would assume that would mean there's some sort of communication system that I can tap into with my science pad. So what I'm going to attempt to do is I'm going to try to attempt to interface with their communication system, and I'm going to circle through the MP3s that I have saved on there and try to find a song.
In the far future, we don't have a better compression yet than MP3.
Cam is a sucker for the old
purist
stuff.
You want to hear the pops of the digital.
Exactly. It's whenever I listen to the new year 3000 type recordings, it's just not lossy enough for me.
That's what I call music volume 874,322.
I think that's what they're actually up to now.
Okay, so you start scrolling through your pad trying to interface. We'll get to rolling that in a second. More immediately, though, giant worm right behind you. What are you doing?
I am trying to stay out of its sight. So if I'm right under its mouth, perhaps it doesn't know that I'm there. If I stay very still.
Real quick question. How many worms have you ever seen with eyes?
Several.
Okay, maybe you, Ryan, haven't, but total worm expert, I guess.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So trying to stay out of its vision, staying like close enough to it that like it can't turn its head to you. All right.
That's right.
Are you just trying to hide, or are you trying to do more than that with this positioning?
I'm trying to hide and signal to Sparks to distract the worm or get the worm to chase something else.
All right. So let's have a roll to see how well you hide here. So I think, again, being an intrepid explorer makes you an expert at this sort of thing. Do you have anything that you think would make you prepared to give the extra die for that?
Lots of hiding experience on the various planets in which I've explored.
That's the expertise. That's not the prepared. Prepared would be like, do you have something that helps you here?
No.
All right, so 2 dice. You are going to. This feels like feelings, like you're just sort of like literally feeling it out. Like, am I out of a division over here? 2 dice feelings.
2, 3.
And your number was
2.
All right, so that is either a full success or a partial success plus a laser feelings.
I would just like a full success, please.
All right. You're hugging the body of this worm, and it's like sort of twisting because it sort of knows you're there, but now it can't find you. So it's not diving back down as it's like writhing around looking for you. And it's like the back end of its body is still like in the ground here. Let's cut over to Cam. You are now trying to interface with the system here.
Yes.
Where have you like taken refuge here in the midst of the blaster fire and like all the
I would say that
brainworm hordes coming at you?
When our shuttle blew, there was a fragment of the main hatch, which landed about 30 yards away from where we were originally standing. So I think it sort of landed mostly upright, so I'm sort of taking cover behind that.
So we're picking up after a small technical glitch here. We had due north hiding from the giant worm that he was engaged with in battle. Sparks has just recently lost an arm, and Cam Meridian was about to try to interface and overwhelm these linguini controlled people with some MP3s from his classic days, because every sci-fi series has one person who is obsessed with the viewer's modern world. So Cam, go ahead and you're going to roll for this. I think this is like you interfacing with it, but it's also you like trying to make the perfect playlist, which I feel is a feelings thing. You're going to get the expertise because you're an engineer, so you know how to hack into things and do all that. You're prepared because you travel with this playlist with your entire music library, basically.
So I'm rolling a laser and a feeling?
No, you're rolling feelings, but you're getting expertise because you are a mechanic.
Okay.
So you'll get the dice advantage from being mechanic, but trying to make the perfect playlist, that's more feeling than science, right? I think you're rolling 3 dice here, unless someone can help giving you a 4th die, but I don't know how they would right now.
I'm going to help by saying Stevie Nicks, Stevie Nicks, Stevie Nicks, Stevie Nicks over and over again.
So Cam, do you find that helpful is my first question.
Very much so, yes.
All right, in that case, you're going to roll 4 dice, the highest die roll we've had of the game so far.
Right.
But you are rolling feelings, so what's your number?
5.
5. So you need a 5 or a 6 on at least one of these to get a partial success.
Yes.
And any more than that just improves it.
Here we go. All right, I have a 3, 5.
All right.
2.
All right, so that 1 5-year-old can either be a partial success or you take the failure but get to ask me any question, because that is a laser feelings roll.
I'm going to ask you the question. All
right, so you fail to interface here. Your music library, just like you have the wrong file formats. Their communication system doesn't register your old style MP3s. What is your question here for the GM?
So the frequency that would take down the linguini, is it more of like a lower pitched or more of a higher pitched?
It's not even a single pitch. It's not like there's one note. It's specific harmonics. So it's like when you're hitting like certain frequencies in combination. I think Sparks had sort of stumbled onto that when like jumping around between different things, and you get the sense that the most effective harmonic that would work here would probably be a three-tone harmonic hitting across multiple octaves with just a little bit of dissonance thrown in there, and you are pretty sure you could overwhelm these brainworms and maybe even drive them out of their hosts.
Okay. With that.
But
I've got my failure. Yeah.
Yes, but since you failed and you couldn't connect, where did you say you were hiding up while you were doing this?
I had taken refuge behind a large section of our shuttle, which like landed upright about like 60 feet away from where we were when the linguini started popping off at us.
Gotcha. So you're sitting there and you've gotten so engrossed in your pad and like you're putting together this playlist and then realizing it won't sync with their system, and you're so distracted by that and so in the moment trying to find the perfect Stevie Nicks song. What would have been the perfect Stevie Nicks song?
I actually wasn't thinking Stevie Nicks. I was gonna try to, like, if I had a success, I was gonna start with something low pitch. So I was gonna start with a Pony by Genuine.
So you're sitting there like humming and trying to pick like which recording of it to use.
Specifically, I'm hiding behind it, making the noise like from the beginning of Pony. I'm back behind the thing going. Brr, 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 brr.
As you do that, though, all of a sudden, like 5 people that are controlled by Linguini sort of pop out and grab you, and like they're just pulling you away, and they're dragging you back down an alleyway away from your friends.
Oh, good. Okay.
As you do that, as you call for Cam, as you see him getting dragged away, the worm turns its head, having located in on you because you suddenly shouted out from underneath it, and it is turning, and it like basically tries to like back away enough that it has the turning radius for the head to just start coming towards you, and your garbage can lid is not going to be much defense. What do you do?
I try to mount it.
Okay, we got a full-blown worm rider here. All right, so you are going to try to mount this worm. Go ahead and is this something you think you have experience in?
I not personal experience. I've read about it in many of the ship's books and logs.
However, I will say that I have helped him in the past, because I've told him stories about when I used to wrestle with my roommate when I was in the academy. So he has at least a little bit of knowledge of how to tangle with a linguini from that.
Sure, I'm gonna say between that flashback help and your reading experience, I'll give you 1 die for the like they each got you half a die.
I'll take it.
So you get 1 extra die for that. Do you have anything that prepares you for jumping on the back of a giant worm?
Back on my home planet, I explored on horseback.
Sure. This is like a much bigger horse.
Yeah.
Sure. So sure, you get an extra die for that. 3 dice here. The question is this a technical maneuver or is this like just gut instinct?
Are you asking me?
I'm thinking about it is what I'm doing. This feels foolhardy, so I'm going to go with feelings, because I don't think you're like, oh, I grab here and I do this. I think it's more just like, yeah. So this is a feelings roll. 3 dice.
That'd be a 2, 5, 6.
And your number is
2.
A 2. So that's either a critical success, a massive success, or it's a normal success, but you get to ask me a question for that number 2 laser feelings.
I would like a normal success and a question.
Okay, so you you do manage to scramble up onto this worm, and like, you know, you're grabbing its ridges. For anyone who has ever seen or read Dune, you know exactly how this works. You're getting hooks in and you're exposing flaps, so it hurts for the worm to duck back under. Man, I can't wait for the new Dune movie. So what is the question you want to ask as you scramble onto this worm?
How do you remove a linguine from a body?
Oh, yes. Okay. So you would know that you know, parasites of all kinds can be removed a number of ways, but brainworms specifically need to be driven out into the open air and exposed to salt. They're more like slugs in that regard. So, you know, getting them out of the body is just the first step, but destroying them so they can't reinfect another host is the next step.
How do I drive them out of the brain?
You suspect that these sound frequencies might help with that.
We'll do that. Okay, that makes sense.
All right, what do you guys do?
I think as I'm getting pulled down this alley, I think that Cam is crawling out for help. Help, help, help.
I pick up my severed arm. I put my blaster away, pick up my severed arm, and like Jeff Goldblum, try to get the worm's attention with my arm, and throw my arm towards Cam so the worm goes towards Cam. Hopefully,
sorry, I'm riding the worm. Do they have control of it, or I'm just surviving?
I don't know. We have to get to find out, because maybe Due North could pick up the guys going after Cam.
Maybe this is a chance where you can help him because you're riding it. So yes, Sparks, you're trying to basically draw the worm's attention and send them after Cam. Not sure how that helps yet, but sure. So this again feels like feelings. There's nothing really technical here, unless you have some bullshit reason it should be.
Well, my android brother died by a brainworm, and this is how we helped him previously.
Wait. Your android brother died of a brainworm?
Yes, my android brother.
It's like a Data and Lore situation.
Died of a brainworm.
Brainworms can infect androids, is what you're saying.
Yes, but it's a different type of brainworm. It's a digital brainworm. We don't want to get into it. It's a very dark past of our android history, and I don't want to get into it. Just know that me and my brother have fought digital brainworms in the past, and throwing my severed arm helps tremendously.
All right, sure. Because of your tragic past, you'll get an extra die, putting you at 2 die. Dew is riding this worm at this point, though. So Dew, do you try to help here? Like, you see this happening. Do you try to steer the worm?
As best I can, I've got my hooks in. I try to encourage the worm in the direction of Cam in the alley.
What is that like? Is it just like physically encouraging,
or
are you trying to talk to the worm?
The worm hear me?
Maybe. You said you're trying to encourage it, so I thought like that was like you whispering to it. I don't know.
The worm turns to you and says, "They call me Dr. Worm."
The best worm out there.
Yeah, I speak to the worm, and I say, "Come on, sweet baby worm, go to the darkness where it's nice and safe and cool and out of the bright, harsh sunlight."
I bet Due North has sweet-talked a lot of alien creatures in his day, so I think that makes you an expert here. I think you being on the... you don't even need all this. You're just doing the help roll. So yeah, you give that help over to Sparks. I was trying to give you extra die. You don't need them. Sparks gets an extra die here, putting you at three dice feelings.
Okay.
Give me that roll.
I got a 1, 1, and a 6.
And your number is a 4. Unless it was a 1 or a 6, which it couldn't be. It really didn't matter what your number was. But you got a partial success there. So you do manage to lure the worm, but the complication is you're right in its path. It's barreling down on you as it heads to go follow after that arm. What do?
I start heading towards the direction of where Cam is getting taken down the alley there.
All right, so we have Cam being dragged off, we have Sparks chasing after, and a worm sort of making its way over the streets of this machine city.
Making its way downtown.
Yeah. All right, what do you guys do next?
Vanessa Carlton, it's the perfect song.
What note were you screaming, Cam, when you were screaming for help? What frequency would you say that was?
I would say I was screaming, making my way downtown, faces past the home down,
Okay,
but I'm sort of going up and down in pitch to try to see.
Well, no, Cam, I was thinking perhaps the three of us could, in concert, hit 3 complementary notes all at once.
Oh, so if we harmonize, we might be able to knock these brainworms out of some skulls.
Exactly.
I'm still gonna do Vanessa Carlton.
Okay. How about this? How about Sparks? You do the do, and then I'll do the making my way downtown. And then you do the ba. Okay.
Okay.
Let's try this now. Okay, here we go.
Hold on. Before you actually sing all this, we're going to roll as well, and then you're going to sing for it.
Okay, that's only fair.
And I'm going to do this as you're each rolling. I feel like this has got to be feelings. Maybe like music has some technicality to it, so I could see an argument for lasers.
However, remember, as I said, I had perfect pitch from being so attuned to the hum of the engines of the ship.
Sure. I feel like it is still a feelings thing because you're trying to sing and all that. All right, fine. You can get lasers.
Yes.
The other two are rolling feelings. Unless you have a good argument otherwise. Yeah, I mean, Do wants to roll feelings. Yeah. But so you each get your 1 base die. You are all prepared because Cam just basically assigned your parts, and you're all helping each other. So you're all going to roll 3 dice.
Yes.
Nice.
Tell me your number of successes. So what do we got? Do, let's start there.
I roll 5, 6, 6. So that's 3 successes.
Critical success from Do. What do we got from Sparks?
3, 4, 6. So just the 1, 3.
So a partial success from Sparks. Okay. So the android, not the best singer. And Cam?
I got a 3, a 4, and a 2.
And you're rolling lasers. So how many successes there?
That would be 3.
3. So 2 critical successes and a partial. I think Sparks, you maybe get thrown off because your arm is literally sparking as you do it, and then it throws off your own thing here. But how amazing the rest of your team is singing here. So let's review. What are your parts here you're singing?
Okay, so Sparks, you do the do. Actually, how about this? How about Sparks? You just go do, and then I do the and I need you, and then Do does and I miss you, and now I wonder.
And as you do that, the brainworms inside all of the people chasing you are all of a sudden coming out of ears and nose, like they're just like making their way out, and they're just squirming everywhere. Do the giant linguini you're riding though also is affected, and it bucks up into the air. But you're holding on tight. You were so successful though that like you're sort of going back and forth between singing your part, and like you guys are amplifying this with your communicators, and Cam is like funneled this into the machine city somehow, and all the brainworms are being exposed, and like bodies everywhere, just people like grasping their heads and like coming to and realizing they've been controlled. And so now there is a city full of people, and you're on the back of this giant worm cresting up into the air, the full length of the worm coming out of the ground, and you just see people everywhere. What do you guys do? You're now seeing worms, like small worms, squirming all over the ground.
So the people who had the worms pop out of their heads, they're still alive? They're not dead?
Some people you see drop dead. Others are seemingly okay.
Fellas, it seems to me that we should direct the survivors to perhaps find some salt shakers. Salt these slug-like. Are they slugs or worms?
They're called brainworms, but they have a slug-like quality to them.
Perhaps if we coat them in salt like a slug, they'll all die.
Yes,
Like
assault the
slugs do.
slugs. Assault them. Former Federation. No, not Federation. Former
Consortium.
Former consortium. Members, save yourselves and us. Salt the worms.
As you guys are saying this, suddenly you see like the shimmer of a transporter beam as all of a sudden like pallets and pallets of just like salt packets appear in the middle of this square, and your communicators chirp, and you hear and it's just you hear the familiar voice of Commander Duncan. He's like, "Hey guys, we heard your sweet singing over the comms, and it drove all the worms out. Luckily, we had already started to prepare some salt as a counter agent. Sent some your way. Good luck."
Excuse me, did you say Duncan? Did you add another N to your name?
I thought we couldn't trust this guy.
The spelling hasn't changed. The pronunciation changes with mood. It's a cultural thing.
Guys, he sent us salt. Let's just trust him for now.
All right.
People, grab the salt off the pallets.
Salt here.
Salt the worms while you still can.
The pallets are just like filled with little like restaurant-sized salt packets.
Blast them with your blasters, and perhaps the salt will explode off the pallets and onto the worms.
Hold on, Sparks. If I know this is a sacrifice for you, but if you let me use your severed arm, I could perhaps rig that into an explosive, which would send salt throughout the air and into the atmosphere, and then rain down upon the entire city.
Do what you must. Take my arm. I've got no use for it anymore. But this worm is kind of attached to it, though. So be careful with that. He's gonna come after it.
Yeah, Dew is still on the back of the giant sandworm. So what are you trying to do here? You're trying to rig the arm to explode with a bunch of salt and like basically salt the air.
Yes.
Correct.
Okay, that is going to be that feels like a lasery roll here because you're rigging a thing up. You're a mechanic, so we'll say you're an expert. Sure, you're usually more about fixing things than blowing things up, but I'll let it go. And you're prepared because you have this arm and a whole bunch of salt. So that is three dice lasers.
All right. That's a 6, a 1, and a 3.
And your number is
5.
So that's 2 successes. So you manage to get it all rigged up. You plant the arm in the middle of a pallet full of salt packets and tell everyone to get back. Dew is like circling around on the giant worm, and you've jerry-rigged some sort of timer or detonator, and suddenly the pallet explodes and salt goes everywhere, and like it just gets up into the atmosphere, and you're seeing as it rains down everywhere, the brainworm slugs are all starting to dissolve, and all the previously zombified people are like blasting them, whether they've started dissolving or not. And you guys have started to clear this city. You're pretty sure you're okay. But a couple of people have sort of managed to avoid the harmonics, and you once again see that sort of gray-skinned woman with the ridges and the dots that you first spoke to, has now like come out of a building and has big earmuffs on. And like she is surrounded by other people who are also wearing protective hearing, and they're small in number compared to the rest of you now, but they point their blasters at you, and especially Dew. They're just like, you've ruined our plans. Leave us and the great Linguini alone. And they start firing again. And what do you guys do?
Wait, surely Captain Darcy's Linguini has also exited his brain. Is it possible to attempt communication with him, or is he still in stasis?
I think we need to reopen our communication with Commander Hunkum, or whatever his name is.
Duncan.
My communicator was in my arm, so that's what he did. I'm sorry.
I still have a communicator. I haven't used it. I attempt, while riding the worm, to contact Commander Duncan.
You open up your communicator, sure enough, and he's just like, yeah, how you guys doing down there?
Has anyone checked on the captain?
Well, he's still in cryo last I checked. Probably fine.
Did the worm come out during the music?
Oh, that's a good question. I don't know if a frozen worm can hear sound. We'll go
I think
look.
perhaps you may need to thaw him and then play the song again.
Hey, remember when you wanted me to like do something with thrusters? Now that all these guys have lost their worms, I'm ready. What do you need?
Maybe forget about the thrusters and maybe just lay down some suppressing fire on this gray lady and the people with the earmuffs.
Sure thing. Hey, attack pattern Gamma 12. And all of a sudden you see swooping down into the atmosphere. The raptor comes screaming into the atmosphere, firing off blaster fire at and occasionally like torpedoes flying, and it seems to be random enough, and it's like avoiding people because they don't know who is still controlled and who isn't, but you just hear Dugan just be like, is that helping?
I mean, it's not hurting, at least not us.
Tell him to go for the big worm.
Did any of the remaining Linguini-fied people get hit by the suppressing fire?
I don't know. Our sensors aren't that refined. But you're still on a big worm, so I don't want to shoot it.
Take the shot!
He presses a button, and a torpedo, you see, you're on the back of this worm, and you see a torpedo now screeching towards you. What do you do?
I call out to Sparks to use his other arm as a grappling hook to shoot out at me, so I can grab it at the last second.
But I will try my best to catch you.
So are you going to do this grappling arm thing, Sparks?
I will try if I have that feature built into me.
Sure you do. Why not?
Go gadgets.
I mean, all the medical robots have grappling hook arms.
So I will use my grappling hook
Extendo arm. Syringe. We call it whatever you want, Sparks. Extend as far as you can.
So you're reaching out to try to catch Dew and pull him off the worm before the torpedo hits. I feel like this is like you utilizing that targeting system we talked about earlier. We see the green grid lines. So this is going to be a lasers roll as you figure out exactly, like the worm is squirming around, so you have to like calculate where to fire so it lands with it. So give me you're an android, that makes you I suppose an expert at this, and your model happens to have a grappling arm, which makes you prepared. So 3d6 lasers.
I got 2, 5, and 6.
And your number is a 4. So that is one success, right?
Yes.
So only one success, partial success here. So you managed to fire it off, and I don't think you hit the worm. I think it like flies just overdue enough that he's able to grab it. So like you're not like latching into the worm and like do pull some sort of weird jumping off the worm, swinging maneuver as you reel him in so he doesn't just splatter to the ground. But the torpedo hits the giant worm right as he does that. And the complication that comes here is just that, as the worm explodes, you're both sort of caught up in this shockwave of it and go flying across the square and are now just covered in worm guts. And at this point, the fight has continued on and all the freed people have been helping with the fight. And finally, the only one left standing is that one woman that you were speaking to when you first came. And she's the only one still with headphones on. And she lays down her weapon after seeing the great linguini explode. And she says, our plans to invade your worlds have failed. The great linguini will rise again. And she all of a sudden, like, she screams out in pain and the worms just start coming out of everywhere. And like her host crumbles to the floor and the worms dig into the earth before anyone can salt them. And those few worms get away. But otherwise, a silence has fallen over the square. The raptor is now like patrolling the airspace and it's like just sort of keeping an eye on things. But it seems everything has died down, and you have bested these worms and figured out how to drive worms out of potentially your own cryo-frozen captain. Do you make your way back to the ship?
Yeah, I think is the ship still flying, or should we just radio it and ask it, can you come pick us up?
Yeah, I think they send a shuttle down to get you.
I got it. I'll just use my grappling hook on.
Oh, sure. They open up the shuttle bay, and you
we all grab onto
ride
Sparks.
as you get pulled up triumphantly back to the Raptor as everyone on the surface is applauding and cheering, and you go and you sing your sweet, sweet melody for the captain as he comes out of cryo. And then we cut to an award.
One salt packet left.
Yeah. And we cut to an award ceremony where Captain Darcy is pinning gold medals on each of you. He says, for a job well done, you all deserve promotions, but nobody else in the fleet respects me. So my recommendations fall on deaf ears.
How about that commander guy? He can help out.
What commander guy?
Commander Duck Goose.
Duncan.
Dukes of Hazzard.
I don't know any Commander Dukin. Fade to black. Credits roll. And that is our game of lasers and feelings. You guys have successfully thwarted the alien brainworms who wanted to build a quantum tunnel in order to enslave other worlds. Once again, that was we are Death by Improv. We are some members of Death by Improv playing a game of lasers and feelings that we just wrapped up. A wonderful game by John Harper. It's free to play and share, and we will credit him in the description below. He has a bunch of other great games. I'm now blanking on the website. I know if you go to, I think it's johnharper.itch.io, you can find more of his games and designs. If I have that wrong, I apologize. It'll be fixed in the description below. But we are Death by Improv. You can follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram to find out when we do some other online stuff on our YouTube channel. Be sure to like and subscribe us there, which presumably is where you're watching this, unless we've put it on Facebook. I don't know what we're doing yet, but this has been a lot of fun to play. I want to thank my players, Ryan Engelstad, Mick Murtha, and Mike Farley, and I am Mike Hochman. Thank you guys for watching.